Each year, here in the Archdiocese of New Orleans, we have a priest convocation where all the priests of the Archdiocese gather together for a few days of prayer, a few days of fellowship, and presentations on various topics. And it's usually sometime in September. This past year at that convocation, during one of the presentations, our presenter was Father Mark Thibodeau, who was the previous pastor of Holy Name of Jesus on St. Charles. And he highlighted something from today's responsorial psalm that some of us may often overlook. I know I did prior to this presentation. So often when I reflected on Psalm 23, when I was reading it prayerfully in the past, it's always been this source of really kind of deep consolation, or it's at least an invitation to be consoled by the hopeful message, right? The beautiful words contained in that psalm. What Father Mark highlighted for us didn't reverse that, right? It actually deepened it. It deepened it for me in a sense. Because what he did was he highlighted that the psalmist, which was probably King David, he wasn't writing these words, these comforting, beautiful words, in the midst of a perfect, comfortable, and easy life. Our translation today says he experienced these things walking in the dark valley, even though he walks in the dark valley. I like the translation that says walking through the valley of the shadow of death. It adds a little more weight to what King David was getting at. And he says a table is set before him by the Lord in the midst of his foes. Other translations say his enemies. The point that I'm trying to get to is, just like for King David, for us, the Good Shepherd, he can be known in the midst of these difficult realities. I think this is really good news. This is good news for us who may find it really easy to identify many enemies in our life. And even those of us who have been deeply affected in a very negative way by all the death that has been surrounding us recently, whether it be close to home because of various reasons, or whether it's in other countries because of the wars. For me, it's been really hard to ignore just how messed up everything seems to be at the moment, and where things seem to be heading. For me, the path ahead does not necessarily look pleasant. Here's the truth, right? Here's the truth in the midst of that. What will happen in the future has always been anyone's guess. The only one who fully knows what is going to happen is the Lord himself. And in the time we are living in, it can be really difficult to have hope. To have hope that things are going to get better in the future rather than worse. Again, we don't know what the future holds. But the good news is that the Good Shepherd can be known by his goodness. He can be known by his kindness in the midst of all of that. If we are attentive to his voice, if we are attentive to his promptings, he can lead us down the right paths directly to himself. That's the goal for each of us. That's why we were created. He is the one who refreshes us more than over and above anyone else. And he is Jesus. He is the Good Shepherd who calls us by name to enter into verdant pastures through him, through our communion with him, through our personal, intimate relationship with him. And he calls us to that reality, to that personal relationship with him in the midst of the sheepfold, in the midst of his entire flock, who can be identified. His sheep are the ones who are seeking him, the ones who are seeking to stay with him. His sheep are also those of us who may have strayed away from him. He is calling us back to himself, always. That same Good Shepherd makes an incredible statement in today's gospel for his sheep, that he came that they would have life and have it more abundantly. the fullness of that abundant life that he is inviting us to enter into is experienced in heaven. But even now, even in the dark valley, even in the valley of the shadow of death, we can have a share in that life. We can experience it now with him and through him. And I just know, if you're anything like me, this might have been difficult to experience more recently. If you're anything like me, you might think, I know what I need to do. I know how to combat that. I know how to fight that. But something in you is resisting. It's resisting letting the Lord into the fear you may be experiencing, into the anxiety about the uncertainty that the future holds. If that is where you are, I have to assure you, just like I'm assuring myself, allow the Good Shepherd to come close. No one is as good as he is. Think of it this way. For King David to write that psalm, and for you in your head and your heart to believe that it is just as true for you as it was for King David, you have to let him come close. You have to allow Jesus to call you by name today, to hear him say these words to you. Come back to me. Let me refresh you. Stay with me. Stay with me. And if you hear those words and they're falling flat, and something within you is still resisting, you don't know exactly why that is the case. None of this is really making sense. The Lord can make a way where my words fail. But I do invite you to pray this prayer. I do not know how to receive you, Lord. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to surrender to your love. I'm struggling to believe that your goodness, that your kindness can be experienced in this valley of the shadow of death. So I come begging, asking, humbly, help me receive you.